everyone, and welcome back to the Chill Survival series. Today we're going to build an overgrown enchanted garden so we can further upgrade our gear. We have lots of adventuring and building to do, so let's get started. So in order to get this enchanting table set up, there's a couple of things that we need. These tables require quite a few bookshelves to get the max enchantments. And right now we don't really have enough leather or paper to make our bookshelves. So I need to make sure we stay on top of feeding the cows today, but we also need to get some sugarcane planted as well. It's starting to feel like a routine we have where we do some farmland chores before we move on to other things. I'm not complaining though, it's a pretty relaxing start to everything. Alright, let's get our remaining seeds in the bone meal machine, and let's go feed our cows. Hello my friends, I am back again to give you some food, maybe tell you some jokes, I don't know. I just feel kinda bad because I'm feeding you so I can take your leather later. The guilt's starting to weigh down on me. Alright, let's stash this away for later, and next let's get some sugarcane planted. I'm pretty sure I have some stashed away in a barrel with some flowers. Yes, perfect. That's quite a bit too. Sugarcane grows pretty quickly, so we should be able to gather enough for paper relatively easily. Just gonna toss some here so we can easily access it, but we can always move it later if we want to. Alright, our sugarcane is planted and our cows are fed. Now the other thing that we need to focus on is getting the actual enchanting table built. So we have the diamonds that we need to build it, however, we're missing a key component, which is obsidian. Now I find that the easiest way to get obsidian is to find lava pools on the surface and just dump water on them. There is usually lava also hanging around in the caves, but we've been in them so much recently that I think it would be more fun to adventure out and see what else is around us. So let's rest up for the night, and tomorrow we'll head out on our big adventure. So we explored the river and hills by our farmland, but there's a whole vast ocean on the other side of our base that we have yet to discover. I'm really curious to see where this is going to lead. And while we're traveling, we should probably grab any sugarcane we see along the way, because we're definitely going to need lots of it. Alright, I hit a pretty big piece of land here, not too far from our base actually, but I think it's worth exploring. Oh, hello little turtle friend. Why are you so adorable? Yo, a jungle! It might not be the lava pool we were looking for, but honestly, finding a new biome is way more exciting anyway. Alright, let's chop down some of these trees so we can get some jungle saplings. Ooh, we'll definitely grab some cocoa beans as well. The brown dye will definitely come in handy for decorating. Alright, so we got 8 saplings, and I think that's pretty much good. That will allow us to plant at least a couple of large jungle trees back at home. And it looks like the sun is setting, so let's definitely head to bed really quickly because I don't want any mob spawning. So we gathered a bunch of stuff that will be really useful for us down the line, but we still need to find our lava. It's just really easy to get distracted when there's so much to explore. Oh, see what I mean? This is awesome though. We were definitely due to find a village soon. Ooh, and melons. Oh, there's so much good stuff around here. These are gonna look great around our base, especially when we expand our farmland. So there are some crops that we've actually been missing, such as carrots and potatoes and stuff. So you know what? I'm just gonna take all of these. We also got some beetroot. And do they have potatoes? I don't think so, not in this one anyway. Oh wait, yes, potatoes! So we finally have collected all of the crops we need for our farmland. I'm sorry villagers, I'm just coming in and taking everything. I'll pay you back with something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something really good, I promise. It won't be anything, I don't have anything to give them. You are a cleric, which means you have a brewing stand right here that I could potentially use. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna take this. There's no bookshelves in here though, which kind of stinks because that would have been really handy. Oh, there's a Ruth cat. And if any of you are wondering who the heck Ruth is, that is my cat in real life who looks pretty much exactly like this. Oh my gosh, we need to bring her home. It's funny, we set out on the simple task of gathering lava, and we found so many other really important things today. Alright, let's gather some salmon quickly for Ruth so we can bring her home. Hopefully 11 salmon is enough, but if there's one thing I know about Ruth, it's that she really loves food. Alright, let's be quiet and try to get close to her. Come here, Stinky. Come here. It's working. Yes! We got my best stinky pal, Ruth. Alright, now that we have a new friend by our side, let's see what else is around here before we continue the hunt for lava. There's a savanna biome right here too. Let's spend some time chopping some of these acacia trees down so we can collect some saplings. After this, I'm pretty sure the only tree we have left to find is mangrove. I'm really happy with how quickly we managed to find every tree type because now we have more options for building. Okay, so we got 6 acacia saplings, and that should be good to keep a steady supply going back at home. The sun's going down, so let's take shelter in this village for the night, and in the morning we'll continue looking for lava. Well, it looks like someone had a really good sleep last night and doesn't want to get out of bed today. You know what? I feel that. Ruthie, you're looking very cozy, but we have to explore today. I promise there's many good napping spots back at my base. Alright, so we've pretty much got everything we need. I just need to find a pool of lava now. I'm not too worried about finding them. They're actually pretty common. It's just taking a little bit longer because we found so many other cool things while exploring. Oh, I hear lava, but the further I walk away from it, I don't hear it anymore. So does that mean it's like underneath me? Ruth, be careful. I'm gonna do some digging. I found some. Nice! I mean, it's a little bit unconventional, but hey, I'll take this. All right, let's fill up this water bucket and bombs away. All right, this is perfect. Yay, we got our first obsidian. That's so exciting. I think I'm gonna spend some extra time collecting most of this because we're gonna need some for our nether portal down the line as well. All right, so we got 15 obsidian. I think that's more than enough. All right, Ruth, I think it's finally time for us to head home. You're gonna love it there. Ah, home sweet home. All right, let's get you out of this boat. Come on. Well, buddy, what do you think? You like it? Yeah. Ruth says my organization is terrible and she wants to hang out and do it for me. And you know what? She's right. She's definitely gonna get her own space at some point, but for now, this is good. So let's get started on making this enchanting area. And I think the first thing we should do is make the table. So we have our diamonds and obsidian, and now all we need is a book. And if we combine all these things together, we've got ourselves an enchanting table. Having enchanted tools is going to make our lives so much easier. So we're going to leave this stashed away up here for safekeeping, along with some of these books and paper. And since we just got back from a long journey, we should definitely harvest some of our sugarcane. And I'm not going to make paper out of it just yet because the more we replant now, the more we're going to have later. Let's also go pay a visit to our cows and feed them as well. Hey, fellas, why are you staring at me like that? I think they might be starting to catch on. All right, that should be good. And now I think we're finally ready to begin building this enchanting area. So in order to get this started, we need to find the perfect place to put it. And the idea I had in mind for this was an overgrown enchanted garden. So I would definitely like this thing to be placed within the flower forest because I think that would fit the theme perfectly. So let's take a look around to see if we can find a good spot. So I found this really nice circular patch of land pretty close to our house that might work. I really like how it kind of gently slopes down, and in the center is this really tall oak tree. The build I had in mind is actually a circular shape, so this area would be perfect. Plus, not only is this build close to our spawn, but it's relatively close to our house as well, which means it'll be easy to travel between the two. Alright, let's begin clearing some of these trees so we can get a better idea of what this space actually looks like. Let's also shear some of these leaves really quickly. You can never have too many in your inventory. Alright, this space is all cleared out and I think it is perfect. We have tons of room to work with, and honestly, the natural landscape of this is really pretty. There's not much else that we really need to change to it. The only thing I really need to do is a little bit of terraforming here and there to patch up some of these holes with dirt. And I'm just gonna level out this patch to make it a little bit more in line with this tree, because I am gonna be building some ponds and stuff around the enchanting table, and I think it would look better if the table sat flush with the tree rather than being sunken in. Yeah, that's looking much better. Alright, to start things off, I'm gonna place the enchanting table where I want it to go. We need to make sure we leave some space for stone and water to surround it, so I think I'm gonna place it here. I'm also gonna mark out a rough shape of the bookshelves as well as the stones that will surround this area. I always like to lay down a rough template so I can get an idea of how things will look and see if I need to make adjustments. We might have to do a little bit of light terraforming here and there to make more space for the water, but I think that this is pretty much perfect. Alright, now before we begin building, there's a couple of materials that I'm lacking. Since this thing is really overgrown, I want to use a lot of mossy cobblestone, which I don't really have at the moment because we were running low on moss. But we've got a couple of bones in here, we've got some bone meal, and we have some to spare in this bone meal machine. So I'm just going to place a piece of moss by the table and start bone mealing it. I figured I needed to terraform some of the area around here anyway, so instead of shoveling away dirt, we can gather up the moss that we made. And let's also bone meal an azalea tree because we're gonna need these leaves later. We made kind of a mess of this place, but you know what? It's okay. It'll all get fixed up. Alright, now we just need to combine the moss that we collected with our cobblestone, and we've got ourselves some mossy cobble. I think a stack and a bit should be enough for now. Alright, the last thing that we need is a little bit more stone and andesite. I used all of it up when we were making that mossy cobble, so we're gonna need a little bit more for the rest of the build. And we can never have too much coal, so we'll grab this as well. So let's get some of this cobble that we gathered popped in our furnaces. And while we're waiting for this stone to burn, let's shear this azalea tree. Alright, hopefully we should have a good amount of stone now. We ended up with a stack in a bit, and I think that's a pretty good start. So we're gonna have to begin by making some stone bricks. Now I'm gonna toss some of these back in because I want them to be cracked stone. I think that'll really help with making this look really old and overgrown. Next, let's add some moss to some of these as well. So now that we have our palette of blocks ready, let's begin building our garden wall. So to make this thing look old and worn down, I'm gonna make the pieces of the wall between 1 and 3 blocks high and circling the enchanting table. Alright, so this is the basic shape that we're going for. You can see the walls are looking really flat right now and kind of lack shape at the moment. But with this rough template in place, we can start adding more pieces to bring it to life. So we're going to start to do that by adding some full blocks beside the walls. I'm also removing or replacing some in spots that look a little bit too structured. So you can see that adding extra blocks here and there have made these walls look less flat and more organic. Next comes the final layer to bring this all together, which is adding slabs, stairs, and walls. This is where we start ending up with a big mess in our inventory. But it's the most crucial part to builds like this. So I usually start by placing these pieces in sharp corners to round them off a bit and adding them on top of blocks as well. These types of blocks help make it look like this wall is chipped and decaying. Okay, our cracked stairs are finally ready, which means that we can replace some of these blocks with them. I think these will definitely make the build feel a little bit more run down. There, I think that's looking really good. You can see that when you add things like slabs, stairs, and walls to things, it makes it look a lot more dynamic, and adds a lot more interesting shape to the build. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is line some of these edges with coarse dirt. Some pieces might end up getting replaced here and there, but it's good to have it all laid out before we layer other blocks on top of it. Now that the coarse dirt is laid out, we can add in the leaves. One thing that helps make something look very old and forgotten is piles of leaves growing in and around the structure. A good rule of thumb on where to place your leaves is kind of in the corners where it looks a little bit too square, so little pockets like this are perfect for leaves. I also like to place some so they're poking over the edge of the build as well. Hiding the leaves behind slabs and stairs like that just give you really nice pops of color and texture. And I think this side could use some of those as well. Oh no, what are you doing here? Hi. Alright, let's see what you got. It's gonna take a lot to impress me though. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna cut it, buddy. You know what? I'm gonna be nice. Since this is your first time here, I'm gonna gift you a boat so you can leave and never come back. Here, I'll bring you over to this beautiful vast ocean so you can be on your way. Here we go. I think this is the perfect spot. Alright, bye! Good luck! Hope you enjoy the boat. Geez, the wandering trader needs to learn some manners. Alright, since we were kind of derailed from our task, now would be a good time to quickly feed our cows and harvest our sugarcane. Wow, there's lots of you now, huh? If we keep this up, we should be good for leather. Wait, sorry, what? No, you didn't hear me say that, cows. I said that if we keep this wheat supply up, you should be good to eat dinner. Yeah, that's what I said. Okay, bye! Phew, that was a close one. Since we're already in this area, now would be a perfect time to make a quick trip to the caves. We've done a really good job at making our enchanting area look overgrown, but now I want to add some magic to it. And I think amethyst blocks would be perfect for that. I wish we could also grab some of these clusters as well, but we don't have silk touch yet to be able to do that. But hey, maybe we'll get lucky with our enchanting table today. Alright, I grabbed 2 stacks and I think that should be more than enough. So let's head back on up. So I grabbed all this sugarcane earlier and I didn't actually get around to replanting it. I'm going to plant some a little bit closer to where we're building because I'm wondering if it's a bit too far from us to be growing properly. And the last thing I'm going to do is collect some sand so I can make some glass. Since I'm going with the magic theme here, I want to build a crystal over top of the table so it looks like a powerful energy is coming from the book. And let's just pop that in the furnace to burn. So now that we have our amethyst, I can finally lay out the groundwork around the table itself. And I'm going to extend this amethyst ground a bit further out so we have a nice lead up to this table. Alright, I think that's looking good. So I left all of these patches of grass here because I want to dig them out and replace them with some water. It might take a bit of extra time, but I always like to dig down an extra layer to replace the dirt with other blocks. You can pretty much use anything that would be found at the bottom of a pond, such as gravel, stone, maybe some leaves. Honestly, even leaving some of the dirt is fine too. You may not always notice these things at first, but I find going the extra mile really does make the difference. I mean, minus the grass bookshelves, this is really starting to come together. I love that you have to walk up on crystals and kind of jump over some water to get to the enchanting table. Feels very magical. I'm just going to do a quick tidy up of the rocks over here because I feel like they could enclose the entrance of the path a little bit better. Alright, I think I'm really happy with the main shape of this build, so the next thing that I'm going to do is build a water moat around all of this. And it's not going to be anything too wide, it's just going to frame up this area really nicely. Having the coarse dirt here actually really helped because it acted as sort of a guideline on what not to take away when shaping this pond. So the circular pond around this area is all filled in, and I think that it frames this enchanting area very nicely. I really love the patches of moss we have, but all this grass kind of feels like it's lacking texture. I'm going to bring in some of the stone and coarse dirt that we used to blend in this build with our terrain a bit more. I'm also going to toss in some bushes and rock piles to help blend in the landscape, just like how we did with our mining outpost. There, I think even adding little rock piles and bits like that really help fix it up. So now that most of the decorating is complete, I think we need to lay a path that leads up to the enchanting table. I'm going to place a couple blocks of amethyst between the stone path to make it look like it's trailing off a bit. This spot right here looks like it's naturally a bit of a path already, so I'm going to use it as a bit of a guide. Let's round some of the corners of the stairs to give it more of a unique shape. Next, we just have to replace some of this grass and dirt with various stones. At the moment, I only have dirt path back at my base, so I'm going to taper off this stone path so I can blend the two path types together. That way, all of our pathing will lead into each other more smoothly. And hopefully that way it'll feel seamless. I think this is looking like a really cute forest path. So right where the stone ends right here, I'm going to start adding in dirt path, and I'm just going to connect it all the way to our base. Most of it may still be kind of rough, but I'm happy we have a path that connects us properly to the enchanting area. We'll definitely get around to overhauling our paths once our base grows a little bit more. Aside from getting the rest of the enchanting stuff put in, all we really have left to do is add some decorations. So let's start by adding some spruce fencing along the path to close it off a bit. Next, I'm going to grab some of these lilacs and lily of the valley because I think the color of them complement the amethyst really nicely. Let's just get these spread out across the garden. And finally, I'm going to add just a couple more blades of grass and bushes in this area so the ground doesn't look as flat. There, I think that is looking very magical and very nice. So the only thing we really have left to do is add our table and some magical decorations, and it's pretty much done. And I think that means the unfortunate time has come. Hey friends, you're trying to leave? No, you can't leave. I'm gonna feed you all one last time. I'm so sorry it's gotta be this way. Sorry. I'm not sure 15 leather is gonna cut it for our bookshelves, but I also don't want to collect any more leather because we have to make sure our cow supply is still good. Ooh, I see some sugarcane over there. I'm just gonna grab that really quickly. And yeah, not much has grown over here, unfortunately. I think I have been too far away from it to grow properly. Alright, so we do have some spare books and paper laying around, which is great. And now with the rest of the materials we collected, let's make our bookshelves. So right now we only have 5 out of the 15 that we need. Let's see if any of this sugarcane by the ocean has grown so we can get a couple more books. Oh yeah, this stuff has grown much quicker than the stuff by the farmland. Alright, so that bit of extra paper allowed us to make 2 more bookshelves. That's not bad. Alright, let's get our first couple of bookshelves placed. It's funny, now that these few bookshelves are put in, this actually feels like an enchanting spot. The grass was really throwing me off before, but now it feels like it's really starting to come to life. Alright, now that this table is mostly put together, I think I'm going to make the decorative crystal that goes above it. I'm going to use some glass and glass panes that are made of magenta dye because I feel like it would complement the amethyst really well. So I'm going to use some glass panes starting from the bottom that are going to go into pieces of glass and tapering back off at the top. So I think that shape makes it look like there's some form of magical energy that's stemming from the book and flowing upwards. And I also think it ties in really nicely with this amethyst ground. I think it's starting to look pretty magical around here. I just realized that I also had some spare lush cave foliage left over that would be perfect for this area. And let's just hide a spore blossom in right here. Spore blossoms are one of my favorite items. They add so much atmosphere to the area. Look at how much of a difference it's already made. Alright, it feels like we did quite a bit of work on this thing, and now all we really have to do is make a couple more bookshelves for the table and we're done. The sun is setting, so I say we go home and get some rest and we'll finish this thing up once our bookshelves are ready. So after quite a bit of time spent collecting leather, we finally have the bookshelves we need to finish off this table. And you may have noticed that I got a pretty good supply of food out of this as well. Alright, let's get these long-awaited bookshelves in place. So with all of them in place, we have max 30 enchantments. So let's go grab some lapis and give this thing a shot. Alright, I'll take that. And yes, Ruth, I saw the organization that you did and it was very good, so you can have some fish. Alright. It's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. I think I want to go with my pick first. So we've got efficiency 4 and... Ooh, that's not exactly what I was hoping for. I think we should give that one another shot. If we could get fortune or silk touch, that would be amazing. All right, let's disenchant this, get some levels back. All right, round 2, here we go. Come on. Unbreaking 3 and efficiency 4. I mean, it's surely better than the last one, but do we test our luck some more? I mean, we do have 30 levels to spend still, so why not? And I'm gonna pop a grindstone here so we don't have to keep running back and forth. All right, let's get rid of these levels, and 3rd time's a charm. It worked! No way. I mean, it's not fortune 3, but hey, that's pretty good. So we've got fortune, efficiency, and unbreaking on this. Risking it definitely paid off. Kinda sucks because this thing is already starting to wear out, so we do need to be careful with it. The only other thing we need left in this area is a chest so we can store our lapis. So I'll just put that in there for now. And now that this is all done, let's just add a couple of final touches. We still don't have enough iron for lanterns yet, but hey, this'll do for now. All right, let's just light this candle here, and I think this build is complete. I also added in a couple trees here and there to enclose the area a bit more and make it feel more like a secret garden. And I'm so happy with how this build turned out. I think I did manage to nail down the overgrown fantasy vibe that I was going for. And I think the flower forest biome that we're in is the perfect backdrop for this. And above all, we have one of the most important items to help us progress in this game. I'm super happy about that. Alright everyone, I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing because it really helps out the channel. And with all that, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!